welcome back, welcome back. I apologize for cutting that duct tape short, but we have our players and they are both raring and ready to go as we dive into the upper semifinals. The upper bracket semifinals, and here we go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Hardlead, we have the Ukrainian Pro Toss player representing CSO Esports. It is Rostok. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the English Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Eva. Let's go. Eva versus Rostok. And again, Rostok, of course, has been warming up here through Spiffy B. Spiffy B, again, big shout outs for competing and being a part of this event. More on the amateur side of players compared to some of the other big names that we have here. But this is where the big names are starting to face off. Players like Eva, players like Rostok, players like Demi, MiddelVK, Oriana, they're all looking to duke it out. And oh boy, we'll see who comes out on top here. So far, going to be a hatch first from Eva. Nothing too wild for the time being. We have an emote through. Now it's going to be a hatch gas pool. We have seen Eva at times be very fond of 15-15 variations, and very aggressive or even greedy variations at that. But that is not going to be the case here. Not at least in game number 1. I'm sure we are going to be willing to do so in future games to mix things up and spice things up here against Rostok. Likewise, I'm curious how Rostok plays this out as well. We have been having the luxury of casting him a couple of times throughout the past couple of weeks and past couple of months, and he does come off as more of an aggressive player, not as aggressive as Gref. Gref, of course, is very cheesy, very cheesy Ukrainian Protoss. Rostok, he's a little bit more mid-game oriented. At least that's the impression that I've gotten so far. We'll see if that continues to be the case. As the probe is diving into the main, is going to be as the Overlord is going to be checking the natural base. Probe coming back into the main. I don't know why. I just woke up. Okay, I had a nap after the stream this morning, and I'm still gathering my bearings. But even just confirming the opener of the gate expanded to the cybercore, nothing too crazy. We have our tech of choice, and it is going to be a Stargate opener here out of Rostok. This will be to get a secure 3-base setup here, and we'll see where we go from there. If we go Oracle first, Void Ray instead, and what kind of tech we throw down after the 3rd base. Meanwhile, Eva back at home, just running, taking his 3rd. Pulling out of gas once he gets Link speed. Everything is looking as it should. We should be getting into additional Queen production momentarily as well. Spreading all of that creep. And getting into the swing of things. As the Adept is going to be threatening a Shade. So far, so good. It is going to be that Oracle first. 2 Lings do manage to slip into the main base, and we want that probe. Oh, we do barely get 1 probe. 1 probe for 2 Lings. I mean, pretty good trade overall, but at the same time, the Adept does make it into the mineral line. 1 drone goes down. We're going to get a 2nd drone as well. A good amount of damage dealt here by this Adept. Thankfully, Eva was able to reciprocate that damage and get a full scout as well. Is aware of the Oracle zooming across the map. And are we ready for it? We have 2 Queens in the natural. We have 1 Queen in the main, but soon to be 2 in a couple of seconds. They will come out in time. We even have a Spore just in case, just to keep this natural base as secure as possible. Oracle is forced back. Does get eyes on the 3rd base. Now, this is a very suspect 3rd as well. We did opt to go for the triangular 3rd. This is designed to spread creep and to launch creep across the map for a ground-based push. Doesn't have to be, but this is, I'm sure, on the back of Rostok's mind based on the base location, and we'll see how aggressive Eva does intend on being. Ooh, as we have a Void Ray follow-up, actually. 3rd base is being taken. Adept is getting in position. The Void Ray, I believe, is going to be rallied towards that 3rd. Oracles, they do bypass the Queens. Get into the mineral line. 2 more drones go down. So far, a bit of hull damage, but good trades here for Rostok. Not losing anything. Just a bit of hull damage for 2 extra drones as Spores are finishing up. 3rd base slowly getting up and running as well. And we have that Twilight Council follow-up. Okay. So a couple of things. 1, the Void Ray does kind of throw us for a loop a little bit here. With this Twilight Council, this could be Glaives. There's no Forge. We're throwing down additional gateways as well. The Void Ray is designed to shut down the solo to keep Eva in the dark. And this should be Glaives. It could also be a Blink all-in as well. Hero has been quite fond of it. The Adepts, they get surrounded, but they get 3 more workers. Oh, the Orcas, they try to find some more drone damage. They force lost mine time here at the natural base. Quick reaction out of Eva. Does pull back in time. Oh, but the Oracles, they come back in. We get another 3. Another 6 in total, but that is 1 Oracle going down. Bit of a rough trade there for Rostok, but all in all, 1 Oracle for 10 workers. Pretty good amount of damage. And there's that follow-up. It is going to be Blink. We do have a delayed Forge here from Rostok, but a Forge nonetheless. So it is going to be +1. Blink, a standard follow-up here to get into the mid-game. This is what I mentioned earlier, that I do feel like Rostok does thrive in the mid-game, and I mean, he's getting there. Meanwhile, Iba spreading his creep through the center of the map, working on an Evo chamber. 4th base is being taken. So far, we haven't really committed to our tech yet. We do have a Roach Warren, but we haven't gone into Roach speed. +1 melee is on the way. The Roach Warren could just be for safety, and we could be looking to take up into Hydras instead. Overlord does go down. Oh my god, we catch another 3 drones here at the 3rd base. This is slowly adding up. It's slowly getting out of control. Behind this, again, still no road. There we go. I do think that was a bit of an oversight. I'm pretty sure Eva had plenty of resources to start up Roach speed, so this is delayed. Baneling Nest is on the way behind this, so it's going to be Ling Bane, Roach Ravager. Pretty standard army composition. I was going to start talking about Hydras. Like, the longer this game went on without speed, the more likely I was thinking we could go into Hydras, but nah, it's all good. It is just going to be Ling Bane, Roach Ravager. Behind this, Rostok is warping in a wave of units, but he's not committing here. He may push out, he may vie for map control, but I'm pretty sure Rostok intends to take a 4th base because he's throwing down a second Robo, Robotics Bay, double Colossus production. It's coming out, and as Rostok moves out, Iba was threatening a counterattack, but no, he's coming back in. Straighting back around, coming in from behind, looking to dive on top of this army. Does manage to get us around just barely. The Oracles are going ham, but the Stalkers are going to be surrounded. Oh, they barely will escape. So many of them are so low, barely any shields. They're going to get cornered, and these Stalkers are going to go down. The +1 melee. Oh, the positioning. Oh my god. The blinks. Every Stalker will still fall. And that was expensive. That took a lot of lings, but that was only minerals. Minerals for gas, a better trade for Eva. Meanwhile, remember how I was talking about how the likelihood of Hydras being a little bit higher? There it is. Hydra Den is done. Lurker Den is on the way. The Lunkers are upon us. As we don't just throw down the Lunker Den, we have a hive in production. Eva already up to 71 workers. Meanwhile, Rostok taking up into Colossus as well. Eva, did he scout, by the way? He didn't even scout, but he is recognizing that Rostok is going for a more tech-heavy composition. So as Rostok works towards Colossus, Eba's working towards Lurkers. Eba will be able to have a better army as a result. Thankfully, not sticking around too long on Ling Bane, Roach Ravager. As Overlords are falling. We do have Roaches, but this is mainly for defense, mainly to make sure we just don't die suddenly to an attack. As our tech is done, Hive had to finish up to get into the Lurker upgrades and Adrenal Glands. Hydras are in production. And show us those upgrades. We're actually going to be prioritizing Vipers first. A very mature decision here. Vipers, then into, of course, Lurker range. And those Roaches, we need to get rid of them. They're going for a bit of a run by. 9 workers do 10 even. Oh my god, the target firing. 10 workers go down before being cleaned up. At the same time, here comes Rostok. We just threw away some Roaches. The Lurkers are not ready. Oh, this is a rough timing here for Eba. He's in a lot of trouble. He needs to buy time. Roaches are coming out. Vipers, they don't have the energy yet, but it looks like Rostok doesn't have enough. He can't keep pushing. He's trying. He's waiting for another warp in. But as he waited for that warp in, the Lurkers have arrived. Just in time. There is detection. Good force fields here out of Rostok. The army coming in from the right-hand side. They try to dive on top of the Colossus. One of them is saved, but the other gets yoinked, and 2 Colossi go down. Rostok unable to save more of them. His army, though, breaking through. Oh my god, that's a lot of Roaches going down. 3 Lurkers remain. The Vipers, they're not ready. And limited anti-air as well. The Roaches are falling one after the other. Can we get on top of the Lurkers? We do get one, almost. barely do not. Eba barely holding on here. By the skin of his teeth, he pushes back the Colossus army, and he holds. Keeps his Vipers alive, preserves 4 of these lurkers as well. Rostok is going to rotate around, and he's getting into Immortal production. Upon recognizing that there are too many lurkers, Immortals, they do a great job of breaking through. And this tech, as we do have a Roach counterattack at the same time. I was about to say that this tech path from Rostok tells us that he doesn't want to go Skytoss, that he wants to be hyper aggressive, be in the face of Eba as long as he can. He had a choice, either to tech up into Archons and Immortals or try to go into Skytoss, and he's committing here to the Ground Army. Oof. Taking some spines to the face. You can see the lurker count getting higher and higher here for Eba. What are we up to? 10 lurkers. We're up to 82 workers. 4 base saturation. Soon to be working on a 5th. And Rostok, he's just behind tech-wise. Like, there was a window. The window there for Rostok was to kill Eba before he got his lurkers up, and he just barely missed that timing by a couple of seconds. Another big Roach counterattack, getting on top of the would-be 5th base. The entire army turning back around. Roaches shouldn't get too much done here, but they will force a cancel. No, that was a kill, not a cancel. 400 minerals down the drain. At the same time, here comes the Stalker army. We have detection. We get 1 lurker. The base. We get the 5th. Oh my. Sorry, we get the 4th even. That's pretty good. We snipe the 4th base. We don't bleed out too many Stalkers either. It's going to be 4 Stalkers going down. We killed 4 lurkers and a hatchery. Hey, that was a pretty good trade here for Rostok. He's not taking this lying down. Storm is about to finish. It's not done yet. We still need another good 15-20 seconds on that. Here we go. We're pushing in. Lurkers are getting in position. Big spine shot's going to be going off on the Zealots. The High Templar, no! We need to save them. Oh, they barely do survive. 3 more seconds and Storm is done, but these High Templar, they took a beating. At the same time, Prism tries to go into the main, but the Queens are in position. How many lurkers do we have? We are up to 13, soon to be 15. Oh no! Oh my god. Once again, Rostok just playing with fire right now. Loses one of his High Templar. Decent Storm on the Vipers even. Oh my god. The Storm takes down a Viper. Good moment, but we're looking for the Yoinks, and we do get the last Colossus. Yeah, High Templar, they go down. Big storms here on the Hydras. Rostok is pushing through, but the lurkers, the lunkers, Poppy, they're just too many. Pushing into all these lurkers, it's just not possible. We're going to try to fight our way through, but the Immortal goes down, the Archon as well. At the same time, we do have some Zealot run-bys, and the Zealots are getting damage done. But we lost everything. We lost every single High Templar, Archon, Immortal, and Colossus. Only Gateway unit survived. And the lurkers are still thriving. They are still up and running. Or scuddling. Waddling? Yeah. And with that, Rostok gets to rebuild here from scratch. Eba getting his 5th up and running as well. I did lose a lot of workers, and he's yet to rebuild them, but there we go. 7 drones are on the way. More lurkers in production as well. Have we rebuilt the Vipers? We have. There's 2 Vipers with the main army. Oh my god, the feedback's on point. Rostok doing well here, getting some feedback stuff, storming the main army as well. Prism slips into the main base. The Queens are out of position. Prism will go down, but the warp-in does complete. Zealots, they bust into the main. Lurkers not quite where they need to be. Oh my god, 14, 17, 25. Oh my god, Zealots coming in from every single angle in the main, at the 5th and at the 4th. 33 drones go down and counting. You get up to, do we get 36? 37? Oh my god, I was joking. 38. 38 drones. The economy of Eba is just in shambles. There's almost nothing left. We're down to 48 workers. Eba was doing so well. Unironically, he was doing really well this game. He was keeping up. He was out positioning. He was taking some really good fights, having a better economy, and in one swift move, the Zealots just eviscerated the mineral lines. Eba still has a strong army. but no longer an economy. Oh my god, Storm going down. Base is going to be falling as well. These Immortals are overextending, but they all survive. The Immortals, they get the hell out of there. Oh, the Lurker Spines getting a lot of damage done, but we recall back home. Meanwhile, across the map, this base is going to fall as well. Oh no, one more Spine! The Lurkers go down and they do not get a kill. This 5 HP. Ay, ay, ay. We're coming back for it though. We want it. We're gonna get it. There it is. It's a kill on the base. But we're coming in first round. We have detection and it looks like Rostok is gonna clean up. He collapses on the army. GG gets called and Rostok will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played again. Eba, he was doing so well for himself, taking up into Lurkers, into Hydra Lurker Viper, taking some good fights, some good trades, even able to, yeah, have a solid economy behind it, but in one swift move. Remember, he had Queens in position in the main. They did actually go to inject, it looked like. They were moving out to either inject or spread creep. Warpin came in, and just like that, Eba was pulled apart. We had the Warpin in the main, Zealot run by on the right-hand side, main army towards the left, and yeah, that was 38 dead workers, 38 dead drones, and just like that, Eba was all in. Did not have an economy behind it, could not sustain himself. It was all or nothing, and in the end, it was. Oh. Okay, I was like, what is? I was like, what is? Okay, it's like, what is this thing on the camera? It's my arm, Poppy. It's my arm. But yeah, in the end, Rostok was able to persevere and take game number 1. And with that, Rostok is 1 game away from advancing on into the next round. Eba is up against the wall. It's a best of 3, 1 more loss, and he is knocked down to the lower bracket. Greetings from Spain, enjoying your perfect. Oh, perfect. Oh, gracias, papi, gracias. Bienvenidos, papi, bienvenidos. Ojalá que todo te va bien. Soy de Latinoamérica, de Perú, no de España. Oh. Here we go. Petition for the Spanish Idra to return. I know, it's been a while, papi, it's been a while. Catching up. I am the TTT. Sorry, just catching up with the chat. I haven't played competitive StarCraft in like 3 to 4 years. Ah, you're fine, Bobby. You're fine. All good. All good in the hood. So we're getting ready here. Looks like our players, they just needed a moment. They needed a moment to just settle on into this. It looks like Eba just may have had some latency issues, so just had to restart. Just had to restart his client and come back into this, and hopefully that does resolve any issues for our players. And then we can get into the rest of the series. Meanwhile, we have a couple of other updates as well that are currently ongoing. Looks like Demi did take down Oriana 2-0. Demi currently facing off against Mindo VK in the upper semifinals. And yeah, that's kind of where this is all going to be leading. The winner of this series will be facing off against the winner of Mindo VK and Demi in the upper bracket finals. Here we go. Of course, both Oriana and SpiffyB are waiting in the lower bracket for the losers of these very series. They are lying in wait. Of course, the lower bracket is another chance for the players, but it's a brutal chance as well. Best of ones in that lower bracket. Not going to be easy to make it through. Anything can happen. Upsets can occur. Upsets can and will occur, I should say. We are getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the Ukrainian Protoss player, the red Protoss representing CSO Esports. It is Rostok. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, being a little bit cheeky, there we go, going for the 12 pool. We have the English Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Eva. Here we go. Here in that second game. Now, a 12 pool doesn't have to be all in, and I'm assuming that this isn't going to be an all in because we are droning behind this. 12 pool is a way to be aggressive early on, to force a reaction and to macro behind this. Now, the big downside of going for a 12 pool is that your gases will be delayed if we do get into a longer game. And I say if because the reality is that we could go for a 12 pool drone pool as well. We do have options to have a more aggressive variation of 12 pool, that is true, but for now, looks like we are looking to expand, take that natural base. Lings are on the way, Queen as well, and everything is looking as it should, as Rostok is going to be denying and delaying this natural base. This scout also confirms that, again, it is more of a later expansion. Lings have been spotted, Lings reveal themselves, focusing down that pylon. And back at home, Rostok, he does delay his expansion, he throws down the full wall. We have a gateway, a cyber core, we're chronoing out that zealot. And the probe is here waiting to throw down a pylon if we need to wall off. So far, a really good reaction here out of Rostok. Again, because of the 12 full, already it's quote-unquote doing damage. Like, it's delaying the expansion. It's forcing a reaction out of the Protoss player and forcing them to be just not the most economic. Forcing them to be inefficient. Here we go. So far, Lings are going to be chipping away at this wall. Ideally, we want to try and get a surround on that zealot, but we are chronoing out another zealot. It is on the way. Adept is coming out as well. So far, good control out of Rostok. He cannot get surrounded. There it is. With two zealots, we can force this back. And now the turns are about to table. Expansion is on the way. Now, Eva did kind of, again, force a delayed base here, delayed probing, delayed mining, but we're about to have two zealots and two adepts. And Rostok is about to go for a big counterattack. This may not look like much, but these 4 units can do a lot of damage, especially considering we have slow Lings and a handful of queens to defend. So here we go. The army is pushing. The goal here is for Eba to minimize his losses. Now, unfortunately for Eba, because of this counterattack, he's forced to make more Lings. Like, even more Lings are on the way here. He would have liked for them to have been drones, but Lings instead. And we'll see if Eba can minimize his losses. We'll see if he can clean this up without losing too much. So far, he is keeping up the adepts. They commit to the shade. They get into the main base and they get one drone already. One drone does go down. We're going to be pivoting away here towards that natural. We do not commit to the shade this time. We take down even more Links of positioning. Positioning a little bit too good here. Really good control and use of the terrain from Rostok. He gets surrounded. A second drone goes down. The adept barely escapes with 1 HP. How? The 1 HP adept does escape. Looking at the units lost tab, it was 1 adept dying and 1 zealot for 10 Lings and 2 drones. Not a bad trade. Not a bad trade out of Rostok. It wasn't just that damage, but also the lost mining time in the main, and also forcing out Lings from the Zerg. As Rostok makes it back home, and we have our transition. We have 2 gateways in the natural, 2 gateways in the main at Twilight Council, Glaives. Glaives are on the way. Rostok is looking to keep the pressure up, is looking to keep the pressure on and get across the map. And Eba is in the dark. He doesn't fully know what's going on, and this Overlord is not going to make it. I don't think it's going to make it to the pillar here. It's just a little bit too far out. The Overlord is going to go down. Rough loss there for Eba. And this also means that because he doesn't have an Overlord here at the pillar, he won't see the move out. So he has that much less information. We have a Roach Warren on the way. Around a 4 minutes 30 Roach Warren timing, which is a little bit late, considering what we're up against. Now, there's a bit of a give and take here. One, it is a Glaive Adept opener. Yes, 4-gate Glaives. But there is no Robo, which means no Warp Prism, which means no reinforcements. So what you see is what you get. It's that we're going to waddle across the map and we're looking for some damage. Meanwhile, Eba is taking this very seriously, Lings are amassing. Ling speed is on the way. Remember, Ling speed was delayed because of the 12 full. 12 full means very late gas. So very late tech here from Eba. Glaves is about to kick in. We're waiting for another warp in, and then we're going to be sending it across the map. There it is. Rostok, he was supply blocked for a moment. Actually, still supply blocked, actually. So, did actually miss a couple of warp-ins there, but regardless, we're moving out. Revealing ourselves, and we are up against how many? 34 Lings. That is plenty of Lings to deal with this. To keep up with the shades, Roaches are coming out just in time. They go straight for the queens. They're going to get one. High NG queen goes down. They get a second queen as well. They're going for the third. They want another queen. They get a couple of roaches. Good trades here from Rostok. But the Lings are coming in first round. Where's the Shade? Shade was late. We get a surround, and Eba is cleaning a lot of this up. A really good catch. Only 2 Adepts escape. Again, that Shade was just very late from Rostok. He just wasn't able to escape, and yeah, Eba has a lot of momentum. He's going for a big counterattack. Eba is not droning. He's cutting workers at 37. He has 3 gases mining, and he's going to be sending everything across the map. Dark Shrine is on the way, but it's not going to be ready in time. Dark Shrine, Immortal Production, Adepts here at the natural base, so we're looking to break the third. Ravagers in production as well. Ooh, at the same time, we do have the Adepts coming back in. But that's going to be a kill on the third base. And from here, Eba can drone. And just saturate his bases here. The Roach Ravager going to be threatening a dive into the natural, but there's plenty here to defend. We're not going to be able to break it through. Maybe we can get the gateways. Potentially the gateways. So while they force back the army, overcharges pop, keeping everything alive. The Immortal putting in a lot of work. Ooh, oh my god, the Immortal! We go for it! We go for the dive! We will not quite get it. Oh, as we are breaking through the first gateway, second gateway is going to be going down as well. This is still a large army that we have to respect. I'm a little bit concerned as the Lings are coming in to reinforce. Dive on top of all this. We go straight for the Immortal as well. We try to. Pylon goes down. The Artosis Pylon was real, depowering everything. No more shield batteries, no more Robo. GG gets called, and Eba will take game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. I mean, I saw both shield batteries. I thought that we could maybe hold on for another round of warp-ins for another Immortal to pop out, but no, I was wrong. Rostok, he was in more danger than I had assumed, and Eba does break through in the end. He does force the ace match. GG. Again, a big moment that game for Eba was catching all those Adepts. Remember, he was able to kill every single Adept bar 2 by getting a surround, by catching the army out of position out on the map. And yeah, with the death of that meant that we could go for a big counterattack, punish the third base, and snowball out of control from there. So a bit of a misstep. There from Rostok, but hopefully we can recover here in game number 3. Número 3. Here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our Ukrainian Protoss representing CSO Esports being forced into the ace match, but looking to take it in the end, looking to make it into the upper bracket finals. It is Rostok. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the English Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Eba. Tying up the series with a 12 pool. Here we go. Ooh, As this time, Eba is not going for a 12 pool, throws down the emote as he usually does, and is going for a hatch first instead. Going for a 16 hatch here on the low ground. Very standard timing. Likewise, Rostok going for his own gate expand as well. Probe is coming in for a scout, and we'll be getting eyes on the hatchery that's already thrown down. So again, economic opener out of Eba, and Rostok has to confirm this. Again, remember, last game it was a 12 pool, so Rostok needs to make sure he's aware of what Eba is up to and what exactly he's doing. And it's just a hatch gas pool. Standard opener out of Eba. Likewise, Rostok, gate expand, standard opener as well. So the early game is looking to be pretty standard and pretty normal, nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. It's the mid game that our attention does fall upon. Not just that, but also the map itself. We are loading into Golden Aura. Of course, a very defensive map, a map where you can get up to 3 bases very easily. Even a 4th is not too difficult to hold on to, depending on which 4th we do take. So yeah, with bearing that in mind, I expect this to go into the mid game again. We could end up seeing some lurker play out of Eba, or we could even head in a different direction. Rush distance by ground is relatively short. We have seen a lot of Zerg players try to sneak out a Spire and go into mutas in this matchup. That is a possibility, but based on this map, I'm not too sure we can get away with a Spire. Not too sure if we're going to be able to keep that hidden from Protoss and avoid any kind of punishment. There it is. It is going to be a Twilight Council opener once again from Rostok. We saw this in the previous game. In the last game, it made sense to go Glaive Adepts to try to punish Eba. This time, we could see Glaives again. We could also see a Dark Shrine opener instead. In the last game, there was a Dark Shrine thrown down, but we couldn't really get to see the DTs come into play. The game had ended by that point, and yeah, the DTs, they just couldn't really impact and influence game number 2. But that could be where we're headed here in game number 3. Again, this is the ace match. It all ends here, one way or another. One player will rise, the other will fall. Additional gateways are on the way. Still no Robo, bear that in mind. We haven't pulled out a gas. I'm curious as to the direction that we are going in. As Rostok is just going to be waiting for his minerals, and there it is. It is going to be Glaives. Now, we have seen this build kind of go through the European scene, and Hero did do this as well last weekend in KSL. This is a more, I guess, macro-oriented Glaive Adept opener. So, usually when you go for 4-gate Glaive Adepts, it's with a Robo. And because it's with a Robo, it's actually a 2-base opener. Like, you stay on 2 bases that much longer. The Adepts, they get across the map, and then you have to transition into Immortal Production or Robotics Bay to survive, to actually hold on to your 3rd, and you get a later 3rd base. Here, this is without a Robo, which means a much faster 3rd, so it's a more economic 4-gate blink. Much more economic instead. It also means that, again, you can't really reinforce across the map. You're gonna have to warp in Adepts back at home and then shade across the map at a later time instead. Meanwhile, Eba does throw down a fast Roach Warren. He has correctly identified the build of choice. He saw all the Adepts. Adepts are shading across the map. Roaches are not quite on the way yet. We need a little bit more time. But again, because there was no Robo with this opener, it means that we need to walk across. We can't reinforce with that Warp Prism. So a bit of a different dynamic. There it is. The Adepts, they have revealed themselves, going to be threatening a shade into the natural. So far, we do keep up. Adepts being forced back. Meanwhile, a big gateway explosion. Oh my god. That is 5 more gates. That's 8 gates in total. This is a 3-base all-in. We are not. It's a fake. It's a fake 3rd. A 3-base all-in. Sorry, a 2-base all-in from Rostok with a fake 3rd base. We're just doubling down here on mass Glaive Adept, which is crazy. Oh my god. Absolutely insane. And Eba needs to realize what's going on. He comes in for a Link Scout, but he runs into the Adepts. He sees a lot of them. That should trigger a reaction. There we go. More Roaches are on the way. Spinecrawler gets cancelled. Ooh. We're looking to throw down more Overlords. Lair in production as well. Rostok completely all in with this, and Eba doesn't know. He's making drones! Eba's droning. Oh my god, he's unaware of the all-in. He didn't get to see the lack of saturation at the third base. We get another big warping of adepts. That is how many adepts? 25. 26 adepts in total. Oh my god. And they head into the third base. They can go toe-to-toe with the roaches. There are just so many adepts. They don't care about the roaches. We cancel the shade. Transfuse will keep some of these roaches alive though. Do need to be respected. As the Ling Roach trying to keep up here with the shades. The queens are going down left and right. The roach numbers are dwindling, but so far, no economic damage. Spine crawlers are on the way in the mineral lines. We do commit to the shade. Prism gets into the main base. We get some adepts. 4 workers do go down. We're getting more. Drones are falling left and right. Finally, economic damage is being done. 9 drones in total. But it looks like Eba should be able to clean this up without too much trouble. I say that, 4 drones. The target firing 16 very quickly. You can see it just spike up here in damage. 17 workers go down. We shade towards the third once again, going for another warping into the main base. And Rostok behind this. I mean, he's up in bases. He can stop probing. He's just doubling down on the depths. Rostok takes a worker lead. But Eba still has the better army. Rostok is down to 11 adepts. And we're going for wave 2. We're going for the second round. But the second round, it's nowhere near as strong as the first. And Eba, he's stabilizing. I mean, he's got a spine crawler here at the third. He's got a spine crawler at the natural. Oh my god, the prison taking a lot of damage. The roach count getting higher. We are up to 21 roaches against the 19 adepts. Almost 1-to-1. And here we go. The adepts are moving out. The prism going to be distracting the main army. And here we go. We actually recall the prism back home. The prism took too many hits. But we're coming in. Meanwhile, Eba has been taking this very seriously. He droned up to 40, only 40 workers. You can see Rostok, fun fact, he hasn't been making workers. He's transferring because he's running out of mineral patches in the main. He's just transferring workers over towards that third. Oh my god, how many adepts? 29! 29 adepts, almost 30. Oh my god. Here we go, we're diving on the army. Adepts are going down. Gonna be threatening a shade towards the natural base. If the Ravagers get on top of that prison, they can bile it down. We had 29, we are down to 24. 5 adepts did, I mean, we did just have a warp in. We got 10 or so adepts. Threatening a shade towards that third. More adepts on the way. The vials! No! The prism! More prism is going to be able to unsiege. Does escape. That was a scary moment for Rostok. This is still a scary moment though, because he's running out of steam. We're down to 17 adepts. And if we commit to the shade, there's an army waiting. And Rostok is forced all the way back to his third base. Has been probing. We have detection just in case for a Dark Templar. Eba thinking of every scenario. At the same time, the prism slips into the main. But we can't hold on to the third. It's not happening. We can't hold on. No shield battery, no overcharge. Shield battery still in production. GG gets called and Eba does it. He survives the all-in. He counterattacks and he wins the series 2-1. GG. Oh. GG, well played. Congratulations with that. Eba will take the series 2-1. Advancing on to the upper bracket finals. And Rostok, of course, he gets knocked down to the lower bracket instead. But that was a spicy game there. I was not expecting Rostok. We were talking about how the rush distance on Golden Aura is a little bit shorter, so all-ins can hit a little bit harder. I was expecting, you know, a commitment to Glaive Adept into the third base, into the mid game, but no, we just went straight for the all-in. 8 gateways, 2 base all-in with a fake third. Eventually, Rostok was trying to get his third up and running, but alas, he just didn't find the damage he was looking for. He did do a decent amount. He killed, I want to say, up to 19 drones in total, but he needed to do more. He needed to kill Eba. Eba, thankfully, did correctly read that it was Glaives, and he did throw down a Roach 1 in time. He had a Roach army in time. Barely was able to hold on. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we have to catch up with the bracket. We have to catch up on what has been going on.